So this is my wife's baby. This is Riley. He is a 17-hand monster of a horse, and he terrifies the living daylights out of me. Now, Riley lives out here in the Fens in East Anglia, and it's a lovely location, but it does have one major problem. Getting to him twice a day is destroying my wife's car. Muddy pothole tracks are taking their toll on the vehicle. We've tried cycling, but we have to bring a lot of tools and equipment to the site, and the vast majority of them don't fit in a backpack. So when Mooncool reached out and said, would I like to try one of their electric cargo trikes? I said, no, I'm not that old that I need a trike. But my chief financial officer, she had other ideas.
Yes, of course we want one of those.
So this isn't going to be a full review, because we're going to live with this trike for the next 12 months, and I'll bring you a much more in-depth and considered review once we've had time to really get to know it and to live with it. But let me tell you a couple of things about the trike that I find really interesting. One is just how much weight it can carry. Now, I'm not just talking about my bulk. As you can see, we've got both rear and front cargo carriers. These have the optional containers in them that let you keep things dry and waterproof, but you can take those out if you're putting, as we will be, feed buckets and hay nets and other things into the cargo carriers. The bike itself can carry about 200 kilos of weight. That's obviously including the rider, and that means you can move quite a lot of stuff on this trike. Now, down here between the back wheels, we have our electric motor. Now, this is a 500-watt electric motor, and it drives both of the back wheels simultaneously. It also has the ability to burst. That means that if you get stuck in some mud or you're going up a hill, you're carrying a lot of weight, it can peak up to 1,000 watts. So that means you shouldn't get into any situation where the bike can't get you out of. Now, down here under the seat, we have the removable battery. This is a 48-volt battery, and it should give you a range of somewhere between about 35 and 70 miles. Now, obviously, that's dependent upon the terrain and how much assist you're asking for from the little onboard computer. But you can actually charge the battery on the bike. So there's a little port on the side here. We just unplug that, and we plug it into our external charger. But if you feel more comfortable taking it inside, the seat comes off really easily, and then the whole battery can slide out and you can take it into the house and charge it there. When it comes to storing the trike, there's a couple of options. There is an optional cover that you can pull over the trike just to keep the rain off. But we like to put it away in a bicycle shed. But as you notice, it's a bit bigger than a standard bicycle. Well, this is where it's got a really great trick. Down here, you'll notice there's a handle. You just pull that handle to unlock. Give it a push, and the bike folds around on itself, making it much easier to store in a bike shed. And then to put it back together, just push that round, push and lock the handle like that, and you're ready to go. So let's take it down to the stables and let's see exactly how it performs when we get it off-road. What we want to know is, can it help us move things around the site? Can it help us get jobs done? Now, the Mooncool TK1 is an electrically assisted trike. That means you pedal it and it adds extra power to zoom you along. Now, it's got 5 levels of assistance, but to be honest, we're both scared to go more than level 2. It can carry huge amounts of weight, and I'm not just talking about my bulk. Because the stables are off-grid, we need to bring power in the form of power stations. This EcoFlow Delta 3 Max is 22 kilos, about 49 pounds. You could put that in a backpack, but the likelihood is they're going to be picking you out of a hedge and taking the power station off your head. It's amazing how stable the bike is off-road. It handles potholes and puddles with ease. Even when carrying 40 kilograms of weight, it's a stable platform. And when we have to walk the bike across the ground because it's a bit too rugged, it has a walk assist mode that allows the bike to power itself while you walk alongside. Now, there are a few things to consider. riding a trike is very different from a normal bike. You don't lean into the corners, and that takes some unlearning. You also need to ride a little bit further away from the curb, otherwise your back wheel can mount the pavement. And you need to be aware of your girth when compared to a normal bike. But once you master those, it's easy to ride and it's a lot of fun. So what do we plan to use it for? Well, over the next 12 months, we're going to put it to work on the yard. It'll provide transport to and from the stables with whatever we need to bring with us. It allows us to move hay nets and buckets around, because you won't believe how heavy hay nets are. It'll allow us to bring power to charge up the electric fences. Lugging around a 22 kilogram power station is not fun, but it can fit directly into the back of the bike, and we can move the bike to wherever we need to charge up electric fence batteries. And trust me, keeping those batteries charges means that 17-hand monster stays on the other side of the fence as far away from me as humanly possible. But more importantly, this trike becomes a tool in our toolbox. It helps make our lives easier. Now, as I said, we're not going to do a full review of the trike today, but over the next 12 months, we're going to give you our honest opinions on what it's like to live with. We'll tell you the good and the bad. We'll tell you what it excels at and where it falls down. And if the trike works the way we hope it will, then the car might finally stop looking like it's just finished the Dakar Rally.